everyone. I'm making this video because everyone's always asking me Khalil's story. So I thought I would share. Khalil developed normally. He was a happy baby. He came home just like every other kid. He was born with hypospadia, so he was due for surgery at 6.5 months. So he received 2 testosterone shots to have that procedure done. May 4th, 2015, we were on our way to spend the night in Louisville because the surgery was the next day. On the way, I was in the back and I noticed a head drop that I had noticed before, but I never thought nothing of it. So I'm like, oh my God, Reggie, pull over. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. So I called 911. And they wanted to take him to, they came and they met us and they wanted to take him to Khalils. But we thought that maybe he was tired and we were going to the hospital the next day anyway, so we'll just wait. So we go to the hospital, he has the surgery, he's observed overnight. My friend Jasmine comes and I'm like, hey, he's doing this again. And everybody sees him and everybody thought, no, it's a reaction to the medications, the anesthesia. So I was like, no, I really think something's wrong. And the nurses came in and they agreed that they thought it was the anesthesia. We go home. And May 6th, I call my Aunt Jenny. I call her for everything. And I'm like, Aunt Jenny, Khalil's doing this again. I don't know what's going on. So she said, honey, get him here and we'll get him right to the hospital. So we go. Thankfully, Dr. Johnson was there. Dr. Johnson comes in while I'm filling out papers and looks at him and whisked him up over the desk and didn't think twice and took him and ran all the tests he knew and told me that he thought Khalil needed to go to Khalils and he thought he was having seizures. So we go and the whole time I'm thinking a seizure, we can get past that. Aiden had one before and plenty of people have them. Give him a medication, we'll go home. So we go to Khalils and they hooked him up to a 24-hour EEG where he was admitted. And I remember it was like 11 and the nurse comes in and says, Dr. Farber has been watching your son's EEG and he's on his way here. He needs to talk to you. So I thought, what is he coming here in the middle of the night for? This is not normal. So he comes and it's like 12 or 1 our time, and he's like, can you please sit down? I need to talk to you about what I'm seeing. I knew that wasn't good, so I sat down, and he told me that Khalil was having infantile spasms, the most catastrophic form of epilepsy, and he was at the age where it usually appears. He asked me if I had any questions, and I didn't. I was shocked at that time. So the next morning I woke up to him and a slew of people to observe Khalil. I was told that he was the first case that he had ever had with infantile spasms, and he was letting everyone else observe him, showing my kid off like a guinea pig. And so I had questions then. Is he going to walk? Is he going to talk? No, he's not going to walk. He's never going to talk. He's going to die. This is going to take his life. There's always a underlying condition, and he's going to die. But we're going to start him on vigabatrin to try to prolong his life and to stop the spasms, but most of these kids don't live past 3. So we started it, and the side effects was vision loss. And within a week, I was like, yay, he's better, it's working. And then they came back. So we go back in another few days, and they put him on prednisone. And it's a really high steroid, like high dose of steroid. I remember going to get it filled at Rice Drugs, and the pharmacist wouldn't fill it. He said he wouldn't fill it because it's too high of a dose for a man that's 200 pounds. And he had to talk to them because he thought it was a misprint on the prescription. It was like 7 o'clock at night. I was so angry. I was just tired. I wanted to go home. But it was right. It was the right prescription. And that's a scary thing to hear, that your son's on a dose that could harm a 200-pound man. Well, within a week, we thought it was working again. Yay, Khalil, it's working. You're one of the odds. You're one of the cryptogenic kids that doesn't have an underlying condition. They have seizures. You're going to make it. A week later, he goes into status. It was the scariest thing in my life. He was put on a ventilator. It was a big fog. I don't remember much. I remember we seen every doctor there. Nobody gave us hopes of anything. Nobody. About every time they would try to bring him out of the ventilator, he would start seizing again. So they would put him back under. There was no plan for him at all. So I was tired. I researched, and Cincinnati came up. And it was the top for neurology, and I had talked to Stephanie, a friend I met, a really good friend of mine now that I met on the infantile spasm discussion board, and she's seen Dr. Holland. And so I was like, if I can get her there, Charlotte had really good outcome, let's just get her there. But Dr. Holland only usually would see babies. Well, nobody could figure Khalil out. Months being there, nobody could figure him out. Dr. Holland was the last one that they called, and she agreed to take him. She worked her little hand in off for us and saved his life. But he kept going into status, and I refused to vent. The longest status was 22 days. And in those 22 days, I just wanted to leave. I wanted to get out of there. So I requested a referral to the top genetics because we had no answers still. Almost 6 months and no answers, and my son was still having seizures. Every medication failed. So I remember it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and Dr. Holland and the genetics counselor came in, and they told me that they had a diagnosis for Khalil, and that it was mitochondrial, and that it was terminal. He was the only one living with it, is what we were told, and he was not going to live long. They wanted to send him home on comfort measures with hospice, and that he was the 6th in the world ever diagnosed, and that others had passed. So I mourned the loss of my child for a few days, and then I get researching, and some way I got linked to Dawn and Charlie. Charlie was 7, and he has FARS too also, and he's 7 and he's going on 8. Well, everybody knows that we've had a battle. Excuse me. And so we've reached our medical limits, and we have no more options. We have one more medicine coming out. It's the Super Keppra, but it's not out yet. And I gave Khalil 2 doses of rescue meds for a tonic-clonic seizure 2 days ago, and his doctor called to check on him, and I told her about it, and she said that that's not protocol anymore. We give him 1 rescue med every 8 hours, and that we just wait it out. So yes, I gave him Haley's Hope, and someone reported me to social services for giving him Haley's Hope. So my thing is this: if you are not on my page for my child's benefits, get off, because we fight every day to live, and you don't know how hard it is to mourn your child that's still here. Why do we have to move? Why does the zip code define what medicines my son gets? And why do people constantly feel the urge that I'm harming him when I'm not? There's no more medicines. I need a plant for him. I gave him what I ordered. So on top of everything that's going on, I'm dealing with social services because of a hemp oil. Well, now I'm mad. I'm mad. And I want his story to be heard because children are dying. And my son's one of them. He's dying. The medicines that he's on is killing him. If I take him off of them, someone's called social services. I'm not abiding by the doctor's orders, so he'll be taken away. So what are we doing? We're moving 16 hours away from home to save him. I just pray for whoever felt it in their heart to call in on him, because this baby is loved and I love him and I will never stop fighting for him, and I will never stop fighting for any kid that needs it. So I hope somewhere this story gets heard by the right person and they realize that we are becoming refugees in our own hometown, Ohio County, Kentucky. We have to leave our family and friends. People will pass away. We will not be able to attend funerals. We will not be able to attend birthday parties. My parents will age and not get to see their grandson grow up. We're going to miss out on a lot. But it's going to save his life, and I know it will. But if everyone could just be accepting of it, medical marijuana, because it really does save lives. And if they vote for it to be legal in Kentucky, we'll get to come home. In the next few weeks, we will not be able to be around. My 2 daughters are going to be left behind to finish school here. My parents, my brothers, my nieces, my nephews. I don't know anybody. I have a few friends in Colorado. I don't have family there. I don't have nobody there. I'm scared. But I'm going to do it because that's what needs to be done. So if everybody could just pray for Khalil and pray for the strength of me to keep going and to keep pushing and fighting. And pray for the people who feels the needs to call social services on parents just like me all over the United States that don't have safe access, because it happens all the time. Families are being ripped apart because there's a dad in a basement somewhere, or a mom becoming a chemist to save their children's life, and it shouldn't be this way. A plant should be our first option, not our last. So, sorry for the rant, but I'm mad. So, vote yes for marijuana.